Of course.
Because you're not going to be.
When do you want to do it?
Oh, stop. This is a silly conversation.
Why?
You're not going to get punched in the face by a professional fighter.
Why wouldn't I?
Remember when Jim Norton got punched by Chuck Liddell in the arm, in his shoulder, on the Opie and Anthony show? That was brutal. Brutal. Jim Norton's like, he makes me look big. You know what I mean? He's a tiny, skinny guy. And Chuck Liddell wailed on his shoulder.
I'm not a tiny little guy. I mean, Mike, what's Mike?
We're not talking about you. We're talking about Jim Norton.
I know, but like he's a little guy. Like I'm a big dude. I'm an athlete my whole life. I condition every day.
Here's the sad thing, Mike, and this may be the last time you see Matt. And, I want you to leave on good terms. Here's the sad thing. He plays stupid, but he really believes it. No, he's not playing it. He believes that he could take a punch from Mike Perry. He believes that he could take a punch from Mike Tyson. He believes it.
I believe I can win a bodybuilding championship eating pizza. And I did it. I became Mr. Universe. I won GQ Magazine Elite Athlete of the Year 2016 with Usain Bolt and J.J. Watt. They just play different disciplines. I just do different stuff. But we are all champions.
How can it
Let's
be
go.
Universe when everybody in the
Yeah, it's not Universe.
Touche!
It's whoever shows up.
Touche!
So then that's the same with the Boston Celtics.
Show up. Come take my title.
That's the Boston Celtics.
They can't play it. They're restricted. It's not the Olympics. They don't get to play in the NBA league.
So what backyard did you do this in? How did people not know to not find you in your own backyard?
To his point, though, how many different MMA organizations are there?
No, for sure.
And they all say
they're all world champion.
Right.
No, I agree.
They all say that.
No.
And bodybuilding, there's so many different federations. Nobody knows.
And and Bellator say, oh, he's the number one featherweight in the world, featherweight fighter in the world, and UFC, he's number one featherweight ranked, and ONE FC says the same thing. They all say the same thing.
No, I get that. But in MMA, in combat sports, it is worldwide. So, yes, every organization is saying a world champion, and we all say the real world champions, whether you like it or not, or is the UFC because it's the NFL of MMA. But at least in MMA, I get what he's saying. It's just like my big complaint when the Little League World Series, which is world.
Right.
The only problem is Team USA has a 50% chance of winning because they're guaranteed to be in the finals. I know you know that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I hate that. I think that they should have to earn their way in there as well. Yeah. And then it's more legitimate. But when you're guaranteed to be in the finals, even a squirrel finds a nut once in a while.
So can I ask you as a morality question?
Nope.
Perfect.
So do you think, Randy, on the sports card convention that UFC memorabilia will one day be as worth as much as baseball and football?
Well, certain items, yes.
Like what? We both go back long enough to pick certain items.
I know certain things. Like we've talked off the air. I've done it on the air with back when we raised money for Ryan Bennett's widow. Mm-hmm. I know the amount of money that was paid for gloves. And we're talking in excess of 50,000, 60,000, wow. There was one athlete, I'm not going to say his name just because I probably shouldn't, one of the most popular MMA athletes of all time, was offered $85,000 for his gloves, and he said, no, I don't sell things. He gave it to a friend who then sold it to that person for $85,000.
Wow. That would piss me off.
I was livid.
I would be so upset.
They didn't believe it, but I know it for a fact. Here's the funniest thing about memorabilia.
Wow.
And this is any memorabilia. Wow. This is any sport. This is whatever. So Matt Serra knocks out GSP in Houston, and I'm in Matt Serra's locker room. I went in GSP's. I got his gloves, and we were going to sell both gloves. I then went into Matt Serra's locker room, and, hey, Matt, congratulations. I'm here for the gloves. Are you still cool with it? He goes, Randy, I just knocked out Matt Serra. I can't give you the gloves.
You mean George St. Pierre?
Knocked out George St. Pierre. What did I say? Matt Serra. No, Matt Serra knocked out GSP. Thanks for correcting me. I can't give you the gloves. I said, Matt, I get it. Yeah. I understand. He goes, how about my shorts?
Yeah, that's great.
I said, that's great. Yeah. Thank you. Awesome. He goes into the bathroom. Dana walks in, hands him a check, all this kind of stuff. Matt opens the door. He's got the shorts in his hands. And he goes, Randy, I just knocked out GSP. I can't give you the shorts. How about my underwear? I said, sure, I'll take it. Sold for $900.
Wow.
So you're talking memorabilia. It could be almost anything.
You mean his jockstrap or his underwear?
No, it was like slider shorts or something like that. No, not his jock.
Listen, I love Matt Serra. He's one of the nicest guys in MMA. Mm-hmm. he's such a great guy, and he's got a big heart. But I can kind of understand, even though it was for Ryan Bennett.
Oh, no.
It was for Ryan Bennett, right?
Yeah, it was for Ryan Bennett's family. No, I totally get it. There was, I can't remember his name, sent his WEC belt. One of the silliest ones, and may he rest in peace, Stephan Bonner came to town, and him and Batista came to Bubba's studio when we were doing the show online. And Stephan goes, "Hey, I got a great item for you. I'll mail you my steroid bottle." I'm like, "No, please don't mail me steroids in the mail, whether it's empty or not." But some of the silliest stuff sells. So it's all, it could be anything.
Yeah,
a Babe Ruth ball.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you've seen the reel where Dana White says that his greatest memorabilia is the shorts that Chuck Liddell wore when he knocked out Tito Ortiz, because he hates Tito Ortiz so much that's what he has encased at his home. So
I believe it.
We sold, for Ryan Bennett, we sold Randy Couture's gloves from about 5 or 6 fights. Sold for $25,000. You know, and to be honest, the UFC started selling their items because of the Ryan Bennett auctions. They saw, and thank you, Dana, thank you, Lorenzo, for everything you did. And that's what developed into them selling their memorabilia.
What do you think was Randy Couture's greatest victory?
Honestly, probably Tim.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
You know, because nobody gave Randy.
Nope.
I won't even tell you people who didn't think Randy would win.
Oh, I know.
And it's his closest friends.
I know.
And I remember right after the fight, I asked Randy about what was his game plan or whatever. He goes, "Well, the plan was, I don't remember what order, a right cross and a leg kick. I threw the right and I went to kick, or vice versa, and he was gone. Tim was already on the ground." So, yeah, just I would say that.
Yeah. I remember he was working with Sean Tompkins at the time, and Sean told me before the fight that Randy was going to knock him out. And I was like, "Really?" He goes, "Yep." I'm like, "Okay." And sure enough, he did. I was shocked. We were all shocked.
I was there.
I mean, I was there too,
yeah.
Yeah, we were all like in awe. But that was when everybody had counted Randy out. It was such a great victory, though, for Randy and for his fans and for MMA. It was
no, for sure.
One of the greatest nights of fights.
Yeah, and it just goes to show that on any given day and all that kind of the Buster Douglas thing. And but we've seen, you and I and, you know, the old timers, some really great fights back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
That today's young fans don't know anything about.
Yep. I mean, Rampage versus Chuck. That was a pretty good fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're nonplussed. You're like, "Oh, I don't remember that one."
No, I remember. I mean, my favorite fight of all time, it was Frank Trigg.
Me too. And Matt Hughes.
You know, Matt Hughes.
That was a great fight.
And I've told them both before. I told Matt Serra and Matt Hughes when they fought both before that I'm going to be more upset for who loses than happy for who wins.
Right.
I don't root or anything, but, you know, I've been covering the sport longer than anybody in the world and blah, 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 blah. So my emotions that nobody ever sees, and I've told these guys this, you would never know. I sit there like nothing. And my emotions inside was, holy crap, Matt, what the F, Frank? Like that.
Yeah.
You know, like a light switch and just craziness.
I remember, who was it? I forgot who was fighting, but I was thinking both of these guys. I think it was Michael Chandler versus Eddie Alvarez at Bellator. And I knew both of them at the time, and I'm like, I watched the fight at Renzo Gracie's house in New Jersey, and both of us were like, we don't want any of these guys to lose, but somebody's got to lose.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And it's what it's all about. All right, let's go to our final break of the afternoon. Still trying to get a hold of Ray Schulte. If not, maybe we'll be able to get him on next week, because I do want to talk about the NSCC. That's the National Sports Collectors Convention. Coming to you live from Cool Breeze.
Yeah, Ricky Rocket?
We'll be right back.
Sounds like Ricky Rocket.
Hey, this is Cecil Fielder from Detroit, and you're talking sports with Randy Harris.